So, just recently, Queen Elizabeth II died. She was 96 years old and had been on the throne for over 70 years. And I'm slightly conflicted about all of this. The older me would have said, oh my God, good riddance to bad rubbish. What a bunch of malingering, non-tax paying leeches on society they all would be. Off with their heads, and there's not enough pikes and bridges for them. So much so that when I lived in Seville in '92, there was a visit there to the British Pavilion where I worked as a barman, and Prince Charles and Lady Diana, or maybe she was Princess Diana, I don't really remember, she must have been Princess Diana at that point, came to visit. This is '92, and I boycotted it. I sort of went off and worked somewhere else because I was like, yeah, those damn royals. But as I may have hinted, in fact made really explicit in my video when Prince Philip died, and I made a video for that, actually over time my feelings have changed somewhat, and I've started to see that, well, lots of people inherit money, and I said this last time, not all of them dedicate themselves to a life of public service. So yeah, she got to do lots of fun things and spend time on royal yachts, going on holidays and meeting important people, but you know, a lot of that was work, and she did a lot of public engagements. And so at the end, you know, notwithstanding, you know, my own personal feelings when I was younger, I came to see that actually she served a kind of pivotal role, especially in these tumultuous times following Brexit. You know, we've got loads of anti-immigrant feeling, there's lots of kind of anger in Britain at the moment, much like there is here in America, and she was a kind of rock around which people could see this, you know, long-standing part of their lives. I really remember well the 1977 Silver Jubilee. Loved the street party. I was 11 at the time. It was fantastic. And so, with that in mind, I decided to not put on the version of God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols, and instead, just because it kind of sums up the era, I decided to put on some Enigma variations. I don't have a version of either Land or Hope and Glory, or, you know, the Pomp and Circumstance marches, nor God Save the Queen, or now it'd be God Save the Queen, King, as Charles is Charles III already. But you may be asking yourself, why on earth, with this in mind, are you wearing, you Richard, why are you wearing an Arsenal shirt, you know, 1930 Arsenal shirt replica? Well, simply because, according to one of the most important sources of information in the world, The Sun, the Queen supports Arsenal. She is a Gooner, just like her mum, says the newspaper. I've held on to this paper for ages, just waiting for a moment like this, I suppose. Yes, she was a Gooner, and I have that. Well, okay, that was The Sun. Is that true? I don't know, but I have more information. I have some information here, and when I was working for the Camden New Journal, I got to report on Arsenal a lot, and there was one time where I got to go to, and here's my photo album from the time, as I got to go and stay with my friend Eric and report on the Arsenal-Lazio game. And I don't know if you can see the pictures there. There's Eric in the press box and me. There's Arsene Wenger at the game afterwards. Arsenal drew with Lazio 1-0. No, drew 1-0. What am I talking about? Drew 1-1 at that time. It was a great game. And let me go to the next page. So Sven-Goran Eriksson was the manager of Lazio at that time. Later became not just England manager, but also a neighbour of mine. Lived, you know, 100 yards up the road from me, just when he got embroiled with a scandal when he was having an affair with someone. But that is another story. But here's my connection. On that same day, that very same day, earlier in the day, I had seen this come through the streets of Rome. Yes, it's a royal cavalcade. And in fact, that picture below, you can just make out Prince Philip. Turns out that the Queen had been to, oh, there it goes, fine, had been to see the Pope. Well, been to see the Pope. Yes, there's photos. I think she was really there to see the game. We know it, she knew it, we all know it. Therefore, the Queen is a Gooner, and I'm wearing this shirt from 1930. And so we come to the idea of what you might want to drink for the funeral that is going to be taking place on Monday, the 19th of September of this year. And it turns out she did in fact have a favourite drink. and it appears in a 1930 cocktail book by Harry Craddock, the Savoy Cocktail Book, 1930. The book was 1930. Obviously, I was supposed to wear this shirt, but her favourite tipple, it turns out, was the Dubonnet Cocktail, and we are going to make that. It was not only her own favourite, but it was also her mother's. And it turns out they liked it in a proportion of 2 to 1 of Dubonnet to gin, which I'm just going to say I tried and it's not very good. So I am going to go with the recipe that is in Harry Craddock's book, which simply says half Dubonnet, and by half I'm going to loosely interpret that as 1.5 ounces into a mixing glass with ice, and to top it up, some gin. Obviously I'm using a gin made in London, Beefeater, although I did read somewhere that her favourite gin was actually Gordon's. But here I can't find the English Gordon's, can only find the American Gordon's, and to be perfectly honest, it's not quite as good. So I'm sticking with Beefeater, which is totally respectable, and also the Beefeater, you know, there's all Gardener Towel London and all the rest of it. This seems even more appropriate, really. So we're going to put another 1.5 ounces of that, because this recipe is just half and half of each. Yeah, so there we go. Straight into there. Simply have to stir that puppy up. And like I said, the way that apparently the Queen and apparently the Queen Mother, also Elizabeth, confusingly, liked to do it was 2 parts Dubonnet to 1 part gin. But to me that just made it too unbalanced. I feel there is a way where you could use this with maybe the tonic water or maybe club soda, make it into a tall, delicious drink. But when it's coming to the funeral, I think if you want to honour the Queen, you need to be drinking one of these. We're going to make this, making that nice and chilly there. I've really given that a good stir. And then you just strain it into your chilled cocktail glass. I've got a little delicate little number here. I don't know if you can see the little designs around it. I put it in the freezer a bit to cool it down. We'll pour this out. This is a beautiful pink, blushy sort of pink colour. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? And the only garnish is a twist of lemon, not a slice. And actually, if you make the drink 2 to 1, I've seen that that's actually served with ice. So you make it in a kind of rocks or old-fashioned glass with a slice of lemon, not a twist. But for this, we're going to go for the twist, because that is, as far as I can tell, the appropriate cocktail. Because you want something, you can't just drink it straight like that. But it's nice to have a little adornment, isn't it? And you just express the oil out like so. And actually you can do anything you want. You can, or maybe I'll just tear it a little bit and just put it on the edge, you know, for a little bit of garnish like so. And let's see what we've got. Yeah, very good. Godspeed, Your Majesty. Cheers.